Tell us your name and tell us about your project.
My name is Arthur Eddington. I have several projects of great note, but today I want to focus on my work concerning the subject matter of relativity. As the Secretary of the Royal Astronomical Society, I received a series of letters and papers from William de Sitter concerning Einstein's theory of general relativity, which is when I really became interested in the subject.
What were you guys trying to do or find?
As I became more familiarized with Einstein's general theory of relativity, I started to become very interested and, dare I say, inspired by what was being proposed. General relativity predicts that light will bend around a massive object. Though Newtonian gravity also predicts this, general relativity predicts that the light will bend twice as much as the value predicted by Newtonian gravity. Therefore, in summary, we wanted to conduct the first empirical test of Einstein's general theory of relativity.
Where did the project or experiment occur?
We, the Royal Astronomical Society, organized two parallel teams. Myself and Edwin Cottingham went to the cocoa plantation at Roca-Sundy, Principe. The second team, Andrew Crommelin and Charles Davidson, went to Sobral in northeastern Brazil. Before conducting the observations in Principe in May of 1919, I had observed the Hyades star cluster from Oxford in the months of January and February of the same year.
What other significant events were happening around the world at that time?
I'm not sure if you're familiar with this minor historical event, but the Great War was raging and in full bloom. I saw both the start and end of this catastrophic event. I do have to say, I received some criticism for pursuing the theories of a German physicist, Albert Einstein. But my religious beliefs caused me to lean towards a more open, pacifist view on working with international minds. When conscription presented itself, I had intended to apply for exemption as a conscientious objector, but luckily I had been granted an exemption due to my work being of national interest. That was in 1916. In 1918, though, my exemption was appealed against by the Ministry of National Service. There were a few hearings that took place through this matter. A colleague of mine, Sir Frank Dyson, released a written statement in support of my role in the solar eclipse expedition to Principe in May of 1919. I let the court know that I was willing to serve in the Friends Ambulance Unit, the Red Cross, or as a harvest laborer, but I was actually granted exemption from military service on condition of my continuance in preparation for this expedition.
What else was involved in the project?
I believe I mentioned this earlier, but specifically to my expedition, I worked with Edwin Cottingham in Principe, and my other team consisted of Andrew Crommelin and Charles Davidson in Sobral, back in northeastern Brazil. I did work often with Albert Einstein as well, though, and really the man that should be recognized for recognizing the unique opportunity of the 1919 eclipse was a fellow astronomer royal, Sir Frank Dyson.
What was your role in the project?
I held several leading roles with this project, including organizing both of the expeditions and imaging the stars around the region of the sun, specifically the Hyades open cluster. I also performed calculations over what the images displayed. Essentially, we compared the images taken from this eclipse with images taken in just the night sky. There is a gap that shows up between corresponding stars, which is what we were measuring. The value obtained confirmed Einstein's theory, and furthermore, in conjunction with Einstein's work, the results from our experiment and further analysis, I was able to write the mathematical theory of relativity in 1923.
What impact did your project have on the physics community?
Well, firstly, the results from the expedition provided the first confirmation of Einstein's theory that gravity will in fact bend the path of light when it passes near a massive star. I think that I've lightly dusted over this in previous questions, but more succinctly, Einstein's theory, bolstered by my experiment, transformed the vantage point of physics and astronomy. For the first time, the general theory of relativity established a mathematical framework that allowed for a certain tracking of the evolution of the universe through calculations. This brought up implications concerning Big Bang cosmology and dark matter. Furthermore, this allowed me to foster the growth and development of fundamental theory, which was unifying quantum theory, relativity, cosmology, and gravitation. In doing so, I've really been able to help make revolutionary advances in physics available to the English-speaking world.
You hold many publications, some of which are research papers or even a textbook. Of these, is there a particular publication that distinguishes itself from the others or prompts deeper thought than one would expect from a research document?
A good question. I maintain that philosophy and religion are woven into the realms of reality and thought. This precept is evident in The Nature of the Physical World. This text arose from my Gifford lectures in Edinburgh back in 1927. It treats of the philosophical outcomes of the great changes of scientific thought which have recently come about. The theory of relativity and the quantum theory have led to strange new conceptions of the physical world. I consider the position which the scientific view should occupy in relation to the wider aspects of human experience, including religion. My principal aim has been to show that these new scientific developments provide new material for the philosopher. All in all, I would recommend this text to the curious, intrigued mind. I've thoroughly enjoyed this interview, and I really appreciate you and thank you for your time.